my style, before I lose my style, I try to be it all. When I left you behind, but you're still hanging around. You see me every time. When I try to hide, you're with me once again.
So I wanted to bring back this series. I never really left it, but it's been a while since I've done it. Classic indie rock. Indie classic rock, the way I like to say it. And it's sort of a partial series I've been doing. Maybe this is it's less than 10 videos, more than 5. I wanted to highlight a record from the indie rock past that's like become, classic for many and well known, and then pair it with something similar sounding that maybe you don't know. And this is a bit of a space rock edition, which I've kind of done with the Flying Saucer Attack, but I wanted to talk about a couple of records with some very specific memories that tie to my past. And I'm not sure why I was thinking about this band recently, because they've been hyped in a big way over the last 7 to 8 years. But I've been replaying my favorite Duster record, and this is my classic indie record I want to highlight here. Duster is out of San Diego. Clay Parton, Kane and Amber, Jason Albertini, who joined later, I believe, is the drummer. I watched a great little 30-minute documentary. I'll link to it below, done by a channel. I'll link to it below, but they really talked all about the band's origins in their previous bands, which I've listened to. It's a little more of a hardcore or emo or post-hardcore, like Calm or Mohinder. And they did a bunch of things, and they started sort of recording at home, and when they were done with those bands, it's just with no expectation, but making just sort of not abstract, but more sort of emotional music, or more sort of like inner, more lonely music. And it started with this demo cassette called On the Dodge, which is very rare, and then they started releasing LPs in 12 inches. Now, the most hyped record is Stratosphere, which I do have the original pressing back there, and as much as I love that one, the record that I think is their masterpiece is actually Contemporary Movement, their final record. On Up Records, a label out of Washington, released the Modest Mouse records. I know about this because I got into those Modest Mouse records, and I started looking out for what else was on the label. And never saw this band. I only listened to this like at home, and I have the CDs as well. I think there is an insert to this. And I found the Valium Agolin record. I don't have that original, but I do have the Numero Group. It's this orange. The Valium Agolin is like their sort of, space rock kind of even more space rock sort of side project. I should show it if I can get it quick. Try to tell what it is. It's all black. It's called Black Moon. And it's like all of their recordings. Right next to Weezer. But this record I found, now I talked about this before, but I worked for Warner Music Group in the distribution department for WEA, and we used to have access to the entire Warner Music Group catalog, including the Alternative Distribution Alliance, ADA's distribution catalog. And they distributed this label. And we were able to order employee stock. They would cut the corner, or they would cut them. Now, actually, this one doesn't have a cut. So I might have bought this for like $12 or $13 retail, unless they forgot to cut it. That's possible. I know Stratosphere has a cut. But they would cut your copies, decommercialize them so you couldn't resell them, and you could buy them for like $1.50 or $1.39. That's how I recall getting this. Perhaps this one just got missed as a cut. That's how I got a lot of indie records at the time. This is going back to 2003, 2004. So that's when I found out about this band. I wasn't listening to them when they were a band, which is just a few years prior to that. But contemporary movement is not quite as sort of lo-fi as Stratosphere, but it's a little more refined. It's a little more sparse and stretched out, and the loneliness and desperation factor is super heightened. And I think about this record working long hours when I was younger, working for Warner Music Group. I used to come in on the weekends, and I'd try to catch up. I'd be in the office alone just playing this music, and there's something sort of apropos about playing some of these songs in like an empty, conference area, empty sort of cubicle area. I used to sit in a cubicle. I'd be the only one around. Sometimes there'd be other people working on the weekend. But this is before really having, were we working on a laptop? No, I can't remember. I did have a laptop, but there was a lot less sort of access for working at home, listening to a different band. I'll tell you about in a second. And I just remember like certain songs just really sit in my mind, like Cooking and Travelogue, as like just sitting in that cubicle empty on a weekend, like Saturday at like 3 o'clock, just like doing whatever the hell I was doing, listening to this. Now Duster has come back since they have like 3 or 4 records. They're a band again, they're touring, so I really should go see them. But I love this album. I love the sense of desperation and sort of, looking up but looking inward type of feeling that I get from it. And it's an indie rock classic. It absolutely is now. I just took a chance on it and found it and loved it. And for a while, I felt like my little secret. And then years later, all of a sudden, I find that these records are quite valuable. Stratosphere is the one that demands the most money. This one, not quite as much, but this is the one to me to get. And that the 12 inches are great too. I have those, and I have the singles. So Duster, now an indie classic rock. And the other one is a band called Space Needle. That's what we're listening to. But this is from the mid-90s, 1995, so a little before Duster, on the 0 Hour label. A little like Duster, not quite as slowcore as Duster might be, but a lo-fi set of sort of indie space rock. And yeah, called Space Needle. What a great cover of this. I have to look up if this is an actual photo, because it says photo credit AP Wide World Photos. I mean, this is an intense photo if you can zoom in on it. It's a ship that's fallen over on its side. Over here there's like some blown out building with the ship as well. I guess it's real. I mean, look at the cars. I don't know. Was it photo? This is the mid-90s. How did that even happen? I don't know. I will put information below in the bottom. Space Needle was from Long Island, and they had 2 albums, a couple of singles. So I know about them because they were from Long Island. I didn't go to see them, but I was listening to this at the time thanks to my friend Sean, another friend Sean, when I was a kid. We used to drive around at night, going out and hanging out. I was probably 17, 18. We would drive around in my friend's car, sometimes my car that I would borrow. And we listened to cassettes. It was like the same 5 cassettes. Sonic Youth Dirty. We listened to the first Weezer like constantly. Slanted and Enchanted, I think. Other silly stuff like Bloodhound Gang. hard to remember what else. Some hip hop for sure. Tribe Called Quest. One day, my friend Sean was like, "Hey, we're gonna put something else in." It was like a late night. We were going home, and sort of everyone was quiet, and he put this on. He had a tape of it, I guess. Yeah. And this song, "Before I Lose My Style," the first song on side B, really caught me and grabbed my attention. And I'll never forget it. Driving around Queens, listening to these guys. These guys, one of them would go on to start the band Varnaline that got some attention. And I think they're brothers, if I remember correctly. Their names aren't mentioned here, but one of them wanted to start the band Varnaline and recruited a couple of the people in this band, Space Needle, to be a part of Varnaline. Varnaline has a long career, and the guy Jason Aldean, I think it is, he has recordings going all the way up to last year. But Space Needle made these 2 records for 0 Hour. This is the first one, and it's called The Moray. Oh no, sorry, that's the second album, which has like a Yes take on. I'll put a picture of the second album in the corner. It's a send up of a Yes cover, Roger Dean cover. But this is called Voyager. I highly recommend it. It's not cheap, but if you wait around, you might find it like I did for about 40 or 50. It's a small run. They probably didn't make many of these. They came out in 1995, but so it's got a definite mid-90s indie rock sound, but with a definitely looking up into space, into the cosmos feeling. I really love it. I think it stands up really well. So this is Voyager by Space Needle from Long Island. So not a lot of bands from Long Island, at least ones that we care about. But I started listening to it again recently, and it felt right. It felt like it held up. Some stuff does not hold up from the 90s, so good guitar sound, definitely some noisy bits, some Sonic Youth bits, but there's a cool lo-fi production to this. So yeah, just one I wanted to highlight alongside Duster's Contemporary Movement. 2 classics, one not so much, maybe soon to be classic or an underground classic, and now Duster's Contemporary Movement as a bona fide classic. So that's what I call indie classic rock. Hope everybody's doing well and swell.
Before I lose my style, rip the blinders from my eyes. Before I lose my style, before I lose my style, before I lose my style, before I lose my style.